Suki Hotu, and welcome to the Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page. We are going live this evening here from the Buddhist Mahavihara's Dhammadana series. Um, Actually, we had planned to have a talk by Professor M. Uparatana Thera from Sri Lanka on the topic Is Buddhism Important Today? But as you probably are aware, in Sri Lanka currently there's a lot of issues, and one of the major issues that they are facing is power cuts. And Bhante Uparatna just messaged me about an hour ago informing me that he will not be able to do this evening's Dhamma talk because of the power cuts in his area, which means there is no electricity, meaning there's no uh, what's the word, transmissions possible, so that even the uh, internet services are down in Sri Lanka at the moment in his area. But we are so fortunate that we don't have to cancel this evening's Dhamma sharing, because we have with us in our midst here in Kuala Lumpur, Bhante M. Gnanawasa, who is currently staying at the Central Vihara, who has so graciously at the last minute of my appeal has accepted graciously our invitation to do this evening's Dhamma sharing, and title is Buddhism Important Today. Let me invite Bhante into the studio. Bhante M. Gnanawasa Thera. Good evening, Bhante, and welcome to the Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page. Oh, sorry, I think I've knocked off your audio. Okay, sorry.
Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening,
Leslie,
Bhante.
and good evening, Dhamma friends. Thank you very much for inviting and welcoming me.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting this last-minute invitation. As you know, Bhante Uparatana had to cancel the last minute because there's no power in this temple in Sri Lanka at the moment. But we're so happy that you have graciously accepted this evening's invitation. So let's not waste much time. And for those of you who are not familiar with Bhante Gnanawasa, let me quickly read his profile so that get familiar with Bhante Gnanawasa. Now, Bhante Minuwangoda Gnanawasa was a university lecturer for education science at the Department of Social Sciences and Cultural Studies under the Faculty of Languages and Cultural Studies at the Bhikshu University in Sri Lanka. He had completed his Bachelor's of Education degree in Education Science from the University of Colombo, Sri Lanka. He has also completed his Master's degree in Education from the Bhikshu University of Sri Lanka in the English medium. Bhante is currently doing his PhD at the Cyberjaya University, and I was informed just now that Bhante will also be doing another PhD at the Berlin University in Germany, and Bhante will be leaving to Germany probably next month. Bhante has also written many research articles to many local and foreign academic journals, magazines, and done research presentations in national and at international conferences. He has also presented his research findings in countries like Vietnam, Australia, and Sri Lanka, while holding many responsibilities in the university. Apart from his academic duties, he is a well-known Buddhist missionary in Sri Lanka and preaches on several national TV channels and radio stations. He has also the ability to preach in both Sinhala and English and conduct spiritual programs both locally and overseas. If you remember, Bhante was with us here at the Dhammadana series at the Buddhist Mahavihara prior to the pandemic, and that's how we got to know of Bhante Gnanawasa. So without much ado, I would like to invite Bhante Gnanawasa to start this evening's Dhamma sharing, and title is Buddhism Important Today. Bhante?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Swakhato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ti. Respected members of the Mahasangha, let me worship your feet and get the permission. Dear devotees, when I was invited to talk about this topic, which is somewhat unanswerable, I would say somewhat easy in a way to answer. No need 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or 1 hour. So you can see in the screen, is Buddhism important today? So what would be the answer if I ask the question from you? Is Buddhism important today? Anybody is there who can say no? Yes, it is. It is important today. That's why the Dhamma is called Akaliko. What is the meaning Akaliko? Simply, the value of Dhamma has no time difference. Dhamma can be applied to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter. The Dhamma was delivered by the Lord Buddha himself for the first time 2600 years ago. The Dhamma is valid in the same manner, same way, even to the present world. Doesn't matter at what time of the day, at what time of the year. Doesn't matter to whom. For everyone, Dhamma has a value. So that's the simple meaning, Akaliko. And also, some beliefs only we can get the results of practicing Dhamma when the Buddha himself is alive. So that's why sometimes we tend to wish, hope, I will be born again when the order of Maitri Lord Buddha is alive. My Dhamma friends, but according to Lord Buddha's own word, doesn't matter whether you cannot see or you cannot hear the voice of the Dhamma from the Lord Buddha himself, still you can practice this Dhamma. That is called Akaliko. And still, even today, even tomorrow, you can harvest the seeds, which means you can get the results. If you really follow the way, the path Lord Buddha has paved. That's why once Lord Buddha himself promised, one day he addressed the respected venerables, Mahasangha, and told, my followers, my dear disciples, I can promise, if you do what I ask you to do, if you exactly follow the path that I have paved, I can promise, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter whether you are a woman or a man, doesn't matter whether you are old or young, doesn't matter whether you are belongs to a high caste society or a low caste society, doesn't matter whether you are wealthy or not, doesn't matter wherever you are, where are you from, doesn't matter in which time you are living, which era you are living. He promised, Lord Buddha promised, if you practice this Dhamma in a correct way, you can get the results. So simple to answer the question, is Buddhism has a value today. So normally when there is a question, always there are two sides. You can argue yes and no. As an example, if I ask a question, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the existence of God? Some may say yes, some may say no. There are some points that we can argue the fact that there is an existence of God. Also, on the other way, you can argue the fact that inexistence of the God. But when it comes for the Buddhism, there is no two sides like that. Okay, I know everyone agrees this argument. Which argument? That the Buddhism is value. It has time value. It values every day. We can get the results every day. Doesn't matter the time. Everyone would agree. And how? That should be the question. So that's the question exactly that we are going to talk. If Buddhism has a value today to our lives at present days, how? How we can use it? How we can get the benefits of that? Before that, we have to differentiate the difference of the two eras. Let's go back to the duration or the time Buddha was alive. In Buddha's time, the modern technology was not there. As an example, so Mr. Leslie has already told that Sri Lanka is in a crisis right now. Majorly, the power cut is going on even right now. So that's a big problem for today. We cannot live without electricity right now. But at the Buddha's time, there was no electricity. And here, because of COVID pandemic, you cannot come to the temple, and the Bhantes are not invited to give physical Dhamma sharings. But still, because of the information technology, we can discuss Dhamma. Still, you can hear, you can listen, you can share, you can practice. See the difference? The globalization. People are very close each other. The cultures are very close. And on the other hand, the weapons, the wars, the technology and everything is in its advanced level. But still, the nature of the mind is the same. Mano Pubbhangama Dhamma. Buddhism starts there, it begins there. Mano Pubbhangama Dhamma. Dhamma means things. Thoughts become things. The very first stanza of Dhammapada. There are 423 gathas there. In few chapters. So the very first chapter, Yamaka Vagga, chapter Yamaka, the very first stanza is talking about the mind. Maybe the transportation has an improvement compared to the era of the Lord Buddha's period. And the technology and everything has a massive development compared to that day, but still, can you say that there is a development of the human mind? Exactly where we don't want Buddhism. If everyone is enlightened, no need to practice Buddhism anymore. It will be automatically being practiced. Right? But compared to the time of the Lord Buddha, the human mind need more training. I think you would agree with me. So then, in that way, we can argue Buddhism values today than Buddha's time. Why? because, especially because of this massive development, especially because of the need of the people is massive, not the development of the mind, but the development of the need is there. People want more. Very complex lifestyle we today have. And in the time of the Buddha, most of the people wanted to fulfill only their basic needs: food, clothes, shelter, and medicine, and the protection, love, care, and affection. That's all. But today, we need more. We just simply don't need food to fill our stomach. We need to enjoy food. We need to satisfy not only our tongue but also our eyes, our nose. You just see that's why variety of foods are coming every day, which means the technology has made the human mind more complex. That's why a lot of frustration is felt in the society of human beings. So compared to that day, I put an argument: Buddhism has a value today than compared to the day of the Lord Buddha. Dhamma friends, let me explain how to utilize them, Buddhism, the teaching of Buddha, how we can utilize it. If it does have a value, how to use it, how to get the benefits, only by associating. Associating what? Associating Lord Buddha. Associating what? Associating Dhamma. Associating whom? Associating the enlightened ones. If I tell you, even today, you can associate Lord Buddha, will you believe me? Will you accept it? If I tell you, even today, you can associate the enlightened Arahatas like Sariputta Mahathera, so beautiful characters. Rahula Mahathera, so beautiful characters. And Vimala Nan, the Arahat, Kema Uppalavanna Arahat nuns. So when it's not just simply we can say that we can get the benefits from Buddhism, practicing it as in the era of the Lord Buddha. We can't just simply say that Buddhism is important today. But we have to prove it. How come? And then somebody can ask a question, okay, so how come that we can associate the Buddha? How come we can practice Dhamma in the same manner as the Lord Buddha is alive and preaching us? And how come we can associate and get guidance from those enlightened ones? Still can. Wait, I will let you know how to do that. My Dhamma friends, if I tell you a simile like this, maybe you can understand what I'm going to say. Somebody unknown, a strange person comes to you and tie your eyes with a piece of cloth. He ties your eyes and invite you to follow him. He would say, I would take you to your parents. Will you follow him? Will you believe him? Even to our children, we always advise, don't listen to the strangers, right? We would never believe him. And also he tie our eyes, because we don't know, we cannot trust him wherever he would take us. We don't know what would happen. So of course we wouldn't agree. But if your father, if your mother say, or your child say, I have to tie your eyes because I'm going to surprise you sometimes, like people doing like that, okay? So to make them surprise, uh, then you will never get afraid of that, and you would allow your relative, your loving son, daughter, mother, father to do that, because you know that you are going to be surprised. Of course, why not? Why? What's the difference? The difference is you know exactly who is going to tie your eye. And you know your father well, you know your mother well, you know your son and daughter well. You have been associating them throughout your life. There is the point, my Dhamma friends. When someone comes to you and want to tell something, just like me, I am unknown to you. Maybe you know me because I have shared some Dhamma talks. And I'm in here in Malaysia only for 2-3 months. Maybe you know me, but I'm still strange to you. So even though I tell you, still you can associate and still you can practice, still you can get the results of the Dhamma, Buddha, and Sangha. Don't just believe simply. Okay. Then how come you can believe? So if I tell you, if Arahat Rahula Mahatera, if Arahat Sariputta Mahatera, if Lord Buddha himself tell you that if you practice this Dhamma in this manner, you would be able to get the results. You would be able to reduce your stress. You would be able to make merits, get merits. You will believe him, right? You will rely on that. That's why I'm asking you. Try to associate Buddha himself. To associate Buddha himself, you have to go through us, from the present members of the Mahasangha. To associate the real Dhamma, you have to go from the present members of the Mahasangha. Or maybe some other lay devotees, lay people who are versed in Dhamma. Doesn't matter. So first you have to associate the present members of the Mahasangha or the people who know Dhamma. And then step by step you have to go closer to Dhamma, the enlightened ones, and also to Buddha. Now maybe you are eagerly waiting. This Bhante is talking, and telling us that there is a way that we can associate Buddha and also the enlightened ones, the blessed one and the enlightened Arahatas, enlightened bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. How come? How to do that? Let me explain you. To do that, you have to practice Buddhanusati, Dhammanusati, and Sanghanusati. What is Buddhanusati? Contemplation of the virtues of the Buddha. Every day, morning, daytime, in the evening, my Dhamma friends, you need to practice. You need to contemplate. You need to think of the virtues of the Lord Buddha. How to know his virtues? How come? For that, you need to read his character. Explore who is Lord Buddha. He is not a divine person. Within 30 minutes, within 40 minutes, my dear Dhamma friends, I cannot explain who is Buddha. Let me tell you one thing. Prince Siddhartha renounced his life on a full moon day of Asala, exactly the day his son was born. but he wanted to live. He left home. 6 years he has been practicing. He had been practicing, and then he followed the middle path. You know the story, and attained the supreme bliss of Nibbana himself. Buddho so bodhaya dhamman deseti. He attained what he wanted. He realized what he wanted to realize. He found the truth he was searching for. And after 10 months of the enlightenment, he visited his kingdom when he was a prince. And he was surrounded by 60,000 monks. Just believe me and try to imagine the picture, the Lord Buddha in front and the disciples of the members of the Mahasangha, one by one in a line behind, following the Lord Buddha. So there, Rahula Mata, Yashodhara, Queen Yashodhara, saw this glorious scene, beautiful scene that is very rare on this planet Earth to see. And she wanted to show the scene, the scenery, the glory, the extraordinary scene to his son, her son, Rahula, who was just 7 years old. Called him and show, pointing the finger. Do you know who is coming? Do you know who is in front? I don't know. Who is that? Okay, you have been questioning me throughout this life. Where is my father? The one who is in the middle is your father. So Rahula Mata sang some stanzas, very beautiful, to admire, to explain the extraordinary human being. Punna sasankamu bhosupavano thara gana parivetita rupo savaka majha gate samanindo et sahi tuiha pita narasiho. Punna sasankani bhomukhavanno, which means, I will explain the simple meaning. The one who is in the middle, just like the full moon, surrounded by the millions of stars, is none other than your own father. So then, Rahula, the little prince, ran to Lord Buddha and hung on his small finger, Lord Buddha's small finger. And he felt a comfort he never felt even at his mother. And he suddenly uttered effortlessly, Sukha te samanachaya. What does it mean? Sukha means comfort. Oh, I feel more comfortable, a comfort that I never felt before when I am with this Shramana, with this monk, which is the Lord Buddha. And he hung on in the small finger of the Lord Buddha and followed him. Believe me, he never saw his father before. So what was that? I am not able to explain the loving kindness of the Lord Buddha, but let me try. Collect the loving kindness of all mothers and fathers who lived on this earth, who is living on this earth, and who was living in the entire universe, and who is living today in this entire universe. Collect all the loving kindness of all the fathers and mothers and put that into one heart. There, maybe you can find the love, unconditional love of Lord Buddha. To understand that, you need to read his character. Then you will be close to him. And also, to understand the virtues of the Mahasangha, you have to close to them. So let me tell you one small story about the little Rahula Mahathera. He was very small, but still, he was a Mahathera. Just imagine how cute he was, fair in complexion, like me, and was very cute, and very humble, very obedient, and can imagine a bald headed small young monk who was 7 years old, whose father was Prince Siddhartha, whose mother was Yashodhara. Because of cuteness, he was called Rahulo Bhadra. Bhadra means cute. So cute Rahula. So everyone has nicknames, right? So in the schools, normally children have nicknames. Some are their cockroach, sometimes elephant, camel. So these are the names normally in Sri Lanka when we were studying as the small children. I don't know how the nicknames are here in Malaysia. Whatever it is. So Rahula Mahathera, little Rahula Bhante, got a very nice name. Rahulo Bhadra. Bhadra mean like it's not just only cute, you know, kind and obedient, nice, smart, a collection of these qualities. That's why he called Rahulo Bhadra. You know, one day, this is a very beautiful story. This story comes in Ambalattika Rahulova, the discourse. You may go to the discourse and study. And the little Rahula was living in a room in a mango garden, which was called Ambalattika. That's why the sutta called Ambalattika Rahulovada. And one day Lord Buddha wanted to visit him, the little Rahula Thera. And in his room, little Rahula Thera saw the Lord Buddha was approaching and went outside and wanted to wash the feet of the Lord Buddha. So there is a tradition from ancient time when a monk visiting, normally we wash the feet, maybe whether he comes to a temple or to a home, to show the respect. So Venerable Rahula Little Thero also went there. Now you can imagine the picture, the small one, Rahulo Bhadra, and was waiting at the doorstep. And once Lord Buddha approached, he started washing the feet. And once the Lord Buddha's blessed feet were washed, and Lord Buddha saw a small amount of waste water remaining in the bucket. And Lord Buddha took the bucket to his hand like this and show it to the little Rahula Thera, wanted to give an advice. Rahula, can you see the bucket? Yes, Bhante, it is empty. See clearly it is not empty. Still there is some water which cannot be used. A small amount water which is waste water. And showing the small bit of water, Lord Buddha asked the little Rahula Thera, can we use this water? Is this useful? Can we drink it? Can we use it to wash? Can we use it to cook? Can we use it to water to a plant at least? Cannot, because it's not clean water, and on the other way, it's a very small amount of water, few drops there. Then Lord Buddha said, Rahula, if you are not practicing virtues, if you are not accepting and continuing and engaging what is good, your life is also like this, like wastewater. You understand what I say? So does this teaching is important only to the little Rahula Thera? No, my Dhamma friends. It's important for us too. If you don't do good in your life, if you do bad, if you do not do wholesome activities, if you do only unwholesome activities, your life is also like that. No use. Just like wastewater. Even the wastewater can be purified, right? See how wise Lord Buddha's examples. Even though with purifying this small bit of water, nobody can use it. At least you cannot get your tongue wet, right? So no use. So then it was like this, and Lord Buddha then turned the bucket upside down. Then what happened? And asked, now what do you see? Little Rahula Thera replied, the bit water remained now on the ground. You threw it away. Then Lord Buddha said, the person who is engaging in unwholesome activities is just like the wastewater just fell down, floated down on the earth, on the ground. So at least somebody can say an ant has the value of the small bit of water when it is in the bucket. But once you drop it, nobody can use it because it's only 2-3 drops, right? So if you do not practice your spirituality, if you do not practice Dhamma in this life, your life is also just like the wastewater that dropped. Just see the beauty of this way of preaching of Lord Buddha. You will never forget this. When you are trying to do unwholesome activity using your body, now you have to remember you are going to be like wastewater. You are going to be an unimportant person. And Lord Buddha again turned downside up the bucket. And now again showed it to the little Rahula Thero and asked the question, Rahula, what can you see right now? My Dharma friends, what can you see right now if you imagine the story? Nothing, it's empty. An empty vessel, empty basket. Rahula Thera replied, exactly correct, Lord Buddha replied. If you do not practice Dhamma in this life, if you do not take something with you in your journey to the next life, you are an empty vessel. Nothing. Empty. Right? And again, Lord Buddha made it upside down. What can you see right now? So at least when it is empty, you can pour some water, right? But when it is upside down, whatever you pour on it, you will never feel it. So still it is better to be empty because you can feel it. But if you don't want to listen, you see, you are empty, you don't know about Dhamma, you don't practice it, but still somebody can come and tell you what it is because it's empty and can hold it. But if you don't want to listen, if you don't accept it, so there are many wise people in the society, right? So they always argue, like one day a person approached Lord Buddha and asked a very funny question. He asked me, okay, Bhante, okay, Lord Buddha, I can accept your Dhamma if you only explain me what I get, what I will get practicing your Dhamma. Then I will accept you. Then what Lord Buddha said, I don't want. I don't want to tell you what are the results. It's just like, this is another simile, it's just like someone asking how peaceful, how comfortable outside would be when he is burning, when he is living, when he is stuck inside of a burning house. Let me explain it again to you. The person asked Buddha, okay, I will practice your Dhamma, your way of spirituality. If you tell me how comfortable it is once I practice it. Then Lord Buddha replied the question in this way. Imagine there is a person inside a house. The house is totally burning right now. And someone wanted to rescue him. But he doesn't want. Rather going out with the person, with the help of the person, he is questioning the person, what is outside? Is it good outside? Isn't that foolishness? So in the same way, first you need to realize how painful, how impermanence of the life we have today. You want to tell me how we are suffering every day? Maybe you are thinking you are suffering, others are happy. No, 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 no. Everyone is suffering. Early morning, birds are singing. That's how we teach our children. But exactly what's the reality? They are not singing. How come? They are hungry. And on the other way, they are afraid of another morning because there are more prayers there. So there are more predators. There are more predators, and they will be a prey to a predator. Who knows? That's why they are crying. They are not singing, they are crying because of the suffering. And what about us? Just imagine every day we need to wash our body. Every day we need to feed. Every day we need to make our bodies rest. Every day we need to clean many things. Just imagine throughout the day what you are doing. Maintaining this body. You are going work, you are cleaning your car, you are cleaning your bed, you are cleaning your clothes, you are cleaning your toilet, you are cleaning your kitchen stuffs. Why? Isn't that suffering? And also, we live, we have 24 hours every day. Within these 24 hours, normally 7 hours, 6 hours, we sleep. So we have 17 hours left. Have you ever measured during the day how many hours you are happy? Can you tell me? If you can't, tomorrow you measure. I bet you can't. How many hours you are happy, you are spending happily out of that 17 hours you have remain in a day? How many? Most of you would say, most of the time, my mind is suffering, filled with sad, ill will, hatreds, jealous, sadness, fear. So, when your mind is filled with those unwholesome thoughts, where you have a space for the wholesome thoughts, kindness, generosity, upekka, mudita, happiness, no space. Then, still, do you think Buddhism doesn't have a value today? Throughout the human history, my Dhamma friends, people were looking for a way to make people's mind happy. That's why new versions of cell phones coming. Still, they cannot make their mind happy. There are a lot of theories, thousands of billions of millions of knowledge bodies. I am also an academic, a lecturer, a researcher, but still, whatever the theory we built, whatever the research we do, nobody can make people happy forever. Only the way of Dhamma. So now I have told you, just rush into the readings. Rush into the readings about the Lord Buddha. Rush into the readings of the Mahasangha. So when you start reading about them, you will find one of the favorites exactly fits to your character. Personally, little Rahula Thera, Sariputta Mahathera, my favorite characters. I always read about them, try to explore about them. You know, Bhante, little Rahula asked a question from the Lord Buddha. So we are going to conclude the Dhamma discussion. It's almost more than 40 minutes. How, now I'm going to summarize how you can use Dhamma. It is important today only if you practice it, use it. How to do that? Let me explain you from the character of the little Rahula, Thera, Rahulo, Bhadra, my Dhamma friends. Rahula, little Thera, asked Lord Buddha, Venerable Sir, always you advise us to practice meditation, Dhamma. Why should I practice Dhamma? To become whom? I should practice Dhamma. Just like the children ask from their parents, why should I learn? To be whom? To be a doctor, to be a pilot, to be a good citizen. So in the same way, this little small child monk asked the question from the Lord Buddha, why should I practice meditation and Dhamma? One answer, Rahula, you have to practice Dhamma. Lord Buddha replying, you have to practice Dhamma to be like water. I'm repeating it, to be like water. How come? My Dhamma friends, I invite you to be like water. Why to be like water? Because the water has many qualities that we have to follow. Let me explain, taking only 1 minute. Water, when it is clear, when it is pure, when it is clean, only it has a demand. If you are virtuous, if you are very clean in your mind, in your action, you will have a very good demand. And also don't forget, people wash their waste, their dirty, where? Not in the wastewater, not with the wastewater. People wash their dirts, their wastes with only clean water. Even inside the toilet, we don't use wastewater, only the clean water. What does it mean? When you be good, when you do good to the others, when you show compassion, there is a possibility that you wouldn't get the same compassion back at once, at once, right? So that's why you have to be water. So many complaints against this. When I try to do good, when I try to practice the patience, the loving kindness, and others don't let me do that. That's why, again, Lord Buddha advises, then again you have to be like water. Why? Because whatever the dirt we put into the water, water has its own quality, ability to recycle and get itself clean and serve us again. Try to be like water. But sometimes water is dangerous, right? Which means, which means people do not try to go to the deep of the ocean, into the middle of a river. In the same way, we should have limits too. The compassion is not that you let everyone to come into your life and ruin it. It's not that. Especially for the young children, you should know this. Don't let anyone come to your life, because you are not a small stream that everyone can come and wash their dirt. Don't do it. Don't let them do it. It is not the meaning that when I say that try to be the water, right? Always try to be clean yourself. When someone tries to dirt you, make you waste water, try to clean yourself. Don't blame others, right? So see the beauty. My Dhamma friends, we don't have much time to explain more and more. to summarize this, what I want to tell you today, of course, everyone agrees the fact that the Buddhism is important today, maybe more than yesterday, more than in the ancient time. But my Dhamma friend, the problem is, the question is how to do that. For that, I told you, you have to associate, you have to be close to the Buddha himself, to the Dhamma, to the members of the Mahasangha, the enlightened ones. For that, you have to study, you have to read. And in a challenging situation, as an example, just imagine you got a disease, you lost something, and you lost your promotion, you got a demotion in your job, and somebody has stolen your money. Then what you have to do? Challenging situation. There you have to ask from your favorite, if you have found one. As an example, I would ask, if I am in such a situation, what would Arahat Sariputta Mahathera would do if he is in the situation today that I am in? What would be his reaction if somebody is criticizing him? What would be the reaction if he faced the disaster that I am facing today? Then automatically you will find the answer. That is called Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Now you know what I want to say. Every day you utter Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. My Dhamma friends, only the words doesn't support. If you want to practice truly Dhamma, you have to truly follow the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. How to do that? Only discussing, only listening, only through reading about them. Then only you will really follow Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Of course, Buddhism is important today, but it is important only if you practice it. That's why Buddha has preached us this doctrine is akaliko, which means important forever, not just for a limited period of time, not just for a limited number of people. It's for everyone. So this Dhamma may pave the way for the liberation, for the peace, for the comfort, for us, for everyone. Thinking like that, we will say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for the very interesting Dhamma sharing. I found it very enlightening. I don't see any questions from the audience at the moment, but I have two personal questions that I would like to pose to you. The analogy about water, I think, is excellent. I think that you had very succinctly mentioned about how someone who's pure is in demand. But in real life, sometimes in society, when somebody is very pure of heart and always the good guy, uh, you are always labeled as the nerd or the guy who's weird, and your ratings kind of drop when you're in a group of friends or society. How would you advise someone who's trying to be a good guy, a good person, and faced with that kind of situation where he's actually alienated from society for being weird or a
So the,
nerd? Yeah, something like that.
I
Yeah,
I got the question. So the
yeah.
answer is the same. Try to be the water. So what's the quality of the water? Whatever the vessel, whatever the shape of the vessel, right? The water gets the shape of the vessel. So when it really go deep into your question, when you try to be someone, to be smart or to be pure, so people try to neglect you. People try to uh, ignore you, like you are not a part of them. Okay, so that's why Lord Buddha has explained, if you do not have anybody to associate in the way of Dhamma, in the practice of the Dhamma, because not everyone can do this. No, 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 no. Not everyone cannot do this. So, because of you practice real Dhamma, because of you are going to be pure, if somebody is neglecting you, then you are not exactly practicing the real Dhamma. Because, which means they try to dirt you, they try to put waste on your purity. So don't take them inside. And also, if there is nobody to associate, I'm not asking you not to associate anyone. So then what Buddha said, the person, the real person who practice Dhamma will stay along just like a king elephant in the jungle. You know, there are some elephants, they do not associate the other group because it's not worthy to associate others, right? It doesn't mean that you don't ignore them, but practice compassion towards them. And some people who try to practice Dhamma normally does do mistakes. So what is the mistake? They try to show that they are practicing Dhamma. They always try to teach others Dhamma, those who don't want to listen, right? So even Lord Buddha didn't do it, right? Lord Buddha has had a kind of a wisdom to understand the possibility, the ability, the capacity of the person. So only if the person is ready to listen, he preached, not to everyone. So please don't try to share that you are practicing virtues of the Dhamma to everyone. Only you should know that you are practicing. That is why sometimes the problems are coming, right? And on the other way, that's why I told you, when you try to be good, of course people won't let you do this. Of course not, because the society is filled with defilement. It's like going upward. In a stream, it's very difficult to swim upside, right? Everyone is going down. So when everyone is going down, when you start going up, and it's look weird to the others. That's why I told, no, they will let you, they won't let you swim upside. But still, you have to ask yourself, should I go up or should I go with them? I think you got the answer.
Thank you, Bante. Yeah, that's a good answer. I think I got what you're trying to say. Always try to be different from the rest and don't have to follow the herd, right? If you know what is right,
Yes,
then do what
but
is right.
don't let others observe it that you are different. Because the
Right.
difference
Okay.
is not from your appearance, not from your actions. I mean, like,
Yeah.
yes, yes, actions reflect what is in your mind, but the difference should be here,
Coming
you
up
know.
naturally. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and also it's all about mind. It's about the way of your thinking, right?
Sure.
That is what you have to change first, right? So then people will follow you.
My second question, Mante, is with respect to you mentioning, like you said your uh, idol or somebody you follow very closely is Aran Sariputta and also Rahul. Mine is actually Mogalana. Okay, so somehow I have an affinity to Mogalana.
Mine should
But
be
question is,
Uttara because I'm dark in complexion.
yeah, I thought you would follow Mogalana, but you want to follow Sariputta, so never mind. Mate. But how?
It's not
Okay,
about
for
that.
someone trying to do research, I notice it's very difficult to find references, or where do we find references to actually study the personality or the character of an individual arahant, for that
Okay, if
matter.
you can write, I can tell you the reference.
Okay,
It's
let me create a banner so that the audience can know. Okay, if you can give it to me, Bante.
yeah, it's Kuddaka Nikaya.
How do you spell that? You don't mind? So that I get
I
it correct.
can. Okay,
Okay,
wait. I will put it into the chat box.
if you can put it into the chat box, it'll be easy. This is for our basically for our audience. If you would like to do some research on the various personalities during the Buddha's time and to study uh, Kuddaka Nikaya, right? Okay. Terigata. Okay, okay, right. And
Theravada and
then
the Theravada's.
Okay, let me
So
put
there are
that into.
some discourses. So if you want to explore about the Rahula Thera, you better go Ambalatika Rahulovada Sutta, or simply you type as Rahulovada Sutra.
Wait, let me scroll at the bottom. Trying to
Uh,
save this and
yes,
then
you may find not one sutta under this topic. So
yeah.
please go through them. And
Uh,
also try to find out the hidden meaning, like you read
sorry.
one sentence and then don't try to move to the other sentence, and like it's not just simple, you have to go deep. So the Buddhism
Okay.
also always filled with similes, and they are not just similes, there is a deep meaning. So try to figure it out.
Okay. Because yeah, the other good thing is to learn the teachings of the Buddha through similes. I think that's what your speciality is, Bhante. Uh,
Maybe.
because I think you learn it better if you know the similes. Let me show the other one. Okay, there you are.
Sariputta Sihanada Sutta, another discourse about it's the lion roar of Sariputta Mahathera.
Okay, sorry.
Sariputta Sihanada. Siha mean lion, Nada mean roar.
Okay, let me
So
stop
better you
that
go through them.
quickly. Yeah, let me just paste it onto the screen, and the
Okay,
audience can get a chance to see that as well. Okay.
that is it. Yes.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. Bhante, would you like to do the Anumodana, please?
Okay. So especially uh, according to the Chinese culture and the tradition, the time duration we are spending is about the respecting the departed ones. So, at the very beginning of Anumodana, we will dedicate these merits to all the departed ones, our ancestors. They may find peace and happiness wherever they are today. Please accept our merits. And also, respected venerables, members of the Mahasangha, including the Chief Reverend in Buddhist Mahavihara, Chief Reverend in Central Temple, and all the respected venerables, and also the organizing committee of the Dhammadana series of BMV, including Mr. Leslie, and all the participants for today Dhamma sharing, and all the living ones around us, and all the beings in the universe may find happiness and peace. And also all the devas and all the deities, all the beings may find peace and happiness, and may everyone attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Akasattha ca Bhummatta Devanaga Mahidhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkhantu Loka Sasanang. Akasattha ca Bhummatta Devanaga Mahidhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkhantu Desanang. Akasattha ca Bhummatta Devanaga Mahidhika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang paranti. Devo vassatu kalena sassa sampatti hetu ca pito bhavatu loko ca raja bhavatu dhammiko. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātinang hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Please stay safe and happy.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for conducting the Anumodana. So, on behalf of the Committee of Management and the monks at the Buddhist Mahavihara, let me take this opportunity to thank you, Bhante. We are really grateful for you for coming on to this Dhammadana series at the last minute. As I mentioned earlier, we had to find Bhante as a replacement for Professor Puratana, Bhante Professor Puratana, who couldn't come on this evening because of a power failure or power cuts in Sri Lanka. And we are so fortunate that Bhante Gnanawasa here is now in Kuala Lumpur at the moment, and he so graciously accepted our invitation to do this at the last minute, and to at least let us listen to why Buddhism is important for us today in these modern times. And also for the sponsors for this evening's Dhamma sharing, thank you for your sponsorship and keep ensuring that this program can carry on into the future as well. And also to all the listeners and viewers who are following us this evening, I hope you had gained merit and also be enlightened by what Bhante had mentioned, and you had gained insights into how we can practice Buddhism here in Malaysia and also throughout the world in these difficult times as well. So, with that, we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. So, have a pleasant evening and Sukhi Hotu, one and all.